As James said, the idea behind this widget is that we're looking to use it as hopefully as a replacement to the yearly plan module that we have in the system. The yearly plan module, while useful, is sometimes can be a little bit difficult to interact with if you're not used to using it. So this one should allow for a lot easier data entry as well as editing. Give you a bit more freedom as well. And it ties in with our dashboard builder, which makes things a lot easier too. So just a quick look at the widget so we can get an understanding. What we have is across the top, we have our timeline. So what we can do, we can set defaults on these, but even once you've set your defaults, you can still add in the extra tracks, the extra timeline buttons in here. So we can have the year, that'll be halfway through somewhere. There we go, 2020. We have the months spanning, then we have the weeks and the days. So like I said, we do have defaults and we can turn them off to make it a bit nicer to look at, but you can still jump in and turn them on as well while you're using it. The other thing we can do is if I just scroll across for a bit, we'll see we're down here in January. If I click the today button, it spans me right across. Now we've got that line coming up here. As you can see, the 7th of August, it'll just take me straight to it, which is quite handy as well. We can also zoom in. So if I want to click the days, zoom, apologies, my computer's just trying to keep up. You'll see that it's zoomed in a bit closer, so we can see the individual days a bit easier. And then if I want to zoom out, we click, say, the months, for example. Then we can see that's zoomed out a bit further, and it gives us a bit of a better look at an entire month rather than just an individual day. So again, this is something that we can set the defaults of, and depending on what you're trying to do, we can default it, but you can still change it while you're looking at it to get a better, closer look. So the other thing, so obviously we've got the dates running across the top. Then down the left-hand side, we have our what we call tracks. So a track, you could almost think of an event form or some sort of data that you're wanting to show. So we have here the season phase and then home and away games. So if I skip back towards today, we can start to see that we've got our season phase here for the regular season or the off season. And if I go back a bit further, we can see that we've got some home games and some away games. So these are just filtered. The data's entered in an event form and then filtered to show only home or away games and travel. And then again, these ones here are still separate tracks, but this is where we break it down into individual fields. So this is where we can start to show particular data that you want to see. So like your weekly distance, your max speed, your TSB. And as we start to look through a couple of other examples, we'll start to see specifically what types of things you can start to do here. Okay, so that's the general overview. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through a couple of different examples that we have so that you can start to see how you might be able to apply this dashboard. So the one that I'm on now is a season plan for generally aimed at a professional sport organization. So within this widget, we can see we have the season phase at the top, like I mentioned, with the home and away games. So this is quite easy to visualize where we have, let me just get my scroll right, where we have our home versus away games and how they sit next to each other. So previously we might be looking at this in a table or something like that, which can be good to see them one after the other, but seeing quite clearly we've got a stack of home games together, then some away games, and we'll be traveling here. It's quite nice to look at it in that sort of timeline because people are used to looking at that in their calendars and things like that. So beneath that, we have some of our GPS metrics. So we can see our distance, speed, and TSB. And what's quite useful with this, like we said, we could look at this in a chart or we could look at this in a table like we would have previously. But we can start to see how that ties in with our games as well. So we had a travel period here, and we can see the loading leading up to and including from that travel period. And if I skip to today, we're coming up to the playoffs, So we can start to see the loads that are leading up for each of our individual players here. So we've split it out so you can see every single person with the same fields, and you can start to see how those individuals are leading into that playoff period. So it is really, really useful to see it in that timeline sort of visualization. The one thing that we can do, we can still apply filters like we would with any other dashboard in the dashboard builder. So if I select Alison and Amy, for example, we can see that only Alison and Amy are showing. So just like any other widget in the dashboard builder, you can apply filters to see exactly what you want. You can also apply custom filters that you don't interact with that can start to break things down by home and away game, for example. So yeah, interacts just the same as any other dashboard builder would. One thing, so this is just a little bonus. One thing that people might not be aware of is the use of instructions within the dashboard builder. So our instructions is something that we can add to any section or to any individual widget. So people might have seen that we can use the title and subtitle. So you might see, so the title of this is to click to read instructions or 2019 season plan. But with the instructions, we can give it a different background color. We can start to italicize or bold the font. There's plenty more things that we can do and color the text a different color. There's plenty that we can do with these instructions, and they're quite handy to really make something stand out for the user. So if this sort of widget is something that you're looking to apply in your organizations, and obviously it's quite new, people might not know how to use it yet, making use of these instructions to tell the people what they need to do, the fact that they can click the today button, the fact that they can filter or zoom in is really handy, and it's just a simple thing. And then by default, we can collapse that. So if you're used to using the dashboard, you don't need to see it. But it can be popped open for those that need it, or if someone forgot. So that's just
a quick one. Just a quick one on that. I've seen people use the new content or the recently built-in content hyperlink widget within the dashboard builder to push to a YouTube clip online. Yep. So if you've got people that are probably more video inclined, you're able to embed a YouTube clip here that you might have done yourself for internal reasons. They're able to click, get taken to the video, watch the video, and then have a better gist of using it.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of uses for this. So what I would encourage is if you are the builder at your organization, or maybe if you are not the builder but you want to be interested in it, jump into the dashboard builder and have a look and see what sort of options you have in there, or talk to your Fusion sports scientist as well.